So, my dear students, very good morning. I'm going to discuss today about the abstract classes, abstract methods, and interfaces. And what is the difference between the abstract class and interfaces, and in what situations you will use the abstract classes and interfaces. So, first of all, abstract classes, abstract methods, and interfaces. We can say that an abstract class is a class that is declared as abstract. It may or may not include abstract methods. Abstract classes cannot be instantiated, but they can be subclassed. It means that what is the use of abstract classes? For if any class you have declared as abstract class, it means that no object of that abstract class will be created. Abstract classes are those classes in which abstract methods are there. Abstract method is that method which don't have any definition, only declaration of the method. But in abstract classes, there can be abstract methods as well as concrete methods. What do you mean by concrete methods? Concrete methods means a method with full definition, right? So in abstract classes are those classes which are the having the abstract methods. It means that method without any definition, only the declaration of the method, as well as concrete methods. It means method with wording. Abstract classes, since you cannot create any object of the abstract class, so these abstract classes are used to subclass, and by creating the object of the subclass, you can access the abstract classes. An abstract method is a method that is declared without an implementation. It means that method without any body, without braces and followed by a semicolon. It means that only declaration of the method will be there. For example, this is the syntax of an abstract method. Void, there is a method named move2, and you are passing two coordinates, the value of x and y, delta x and delta y, right? This is the declare and end with the semicolon. So this is a declaration of the method move2, which is which return type is void. It means that it's not returning any value. And if this method is abstract method, then you will use the keyword abstract, prefix the keyword abstract with this method. Now, this method is abstract method by prefixing the abstract keyword. If a class includes abstract methods, then the class itself must be declared abstract. The syntax is that public abstract class graphic object. Suppose this graphic object class is an abstract class. So in this way, you will declare that class, in which you will declare the fields, you will declare the non-abstract methods. The non-abstract methods are basically the concrete methods, methods with definition. And then there is one abstract method, draw, which is not having any body. In this way, you can declare the abstract methods. When an abstract class is subclassed, the subclass usually provides implementations for all of the abstract methods in its parent class. However, if it does not, then the subclass must also be declared abstract. Now, interface. What is interface? In Java, an interface is a blueprint of a class. It has static constants and abstract methods. Interface is basically collection of constant values and declaration of abstract methods. But there is a difference between the abstract class and interfaces are that in abstract class there will be abstract method, means methods without body, but there could be concrete method also. But in interfaces, all the methods will be abstract methods. They will be declared and static constants. You know how to declare and define the constants by using the final static keyword. Suppose A is a variable. If you want to make variable A as a constant, then you will write final int static A is equal to 5. It means that A will be constant. So interface is the collection of declaration of constant values and abstract methods. The interface in Java is a mechanism to achieve abstraction. There can be only abstract methods in the Java interface, not method body. It is used to achieve abstraction and multiple inheritance in Java. As I told you that earlier in earlier classes that Java do not support multiple inheritance. If you want to implement the multiple inheritance in Java, that will be done only with the help of interfaces. In other words, you can say that interfaces can have abstract methods and variables. It cannot have a method body. Java interface also represents the is a relationship. In inheritance, I told you that is a relation. What is the is a relationship? When there is a multiple inheritance in your program, you are implementing any program using the multiple inheritance, then that is the is a relationship. So is a relationship is, since Java do not support multiple inheritance, you will use interfaces to implement the multiple inheritance. So is a Java interface also represents the is a relationship. We can say this. It cannot be instantiated just like the abstract class. As you cannot instantiate the abstract class in the same manner, interfaces also cannot be instantiated just like the abstract class. After the introduction of Java version 8, you can have default and static methods in an interface, and in Java 9 you can have private methods in an interface also. In version 9 you can have the private methods also in an interface. The question arises, why do we use Java interface? There are mainly 3 points, 3 reasons to use interface. First one is it is used to achieve abstraction. You know the meaning of the abstraction. What do you mean by abstraction? Without going into the implementation detail of anything, if you are representing a particular thing, that process is known as abstraction. By interfaces, we can support the functionality of multiple inheritance, as I told you earlier, and it can be used to achieve loose coupling. What is the most important aspect of object-oriented programming? In the earlier classes, I told you that code reusability. Through the code reusability, you can achieve the maximum cohesion and low coupling. because object-oriented programming provides the property of high cohesion and low coupling. Coupling is the interdependent among the modules or classes on each other. So interdependence will be as smaller, that will be good, but in object-oriented programming, always coupling is low. But when you encapsulate the variables and methods within a class, in that case, your coherence is higher. While in non-object programming languages, cohesion is very low, which is bad idea for any programming language, and coupling is very high. But in all object-oriented programming languages like C++, Java, Python, always cohesion is very high and coupling is low. So it can be used to achieve loose coupling. And you know that code reusability can be implemented using the inheritance. And also I told you one statement that inheritance is possible. If inheritance is possible, then only runtime polymorphism is possible. Runtime polymorphism is not possible if any programming language is not supporting the concept of inheritance. This was the important point. What is the syntax of declaring interface? So you will use the keyword interface name, right? In the curly braces, you will declare the constant fields. How you will declare the constant fields? For example, static final int a, like this, and declaring methods, that will be the abstract methods by default. Now, interface declaration. Here we have created an interface. The name of that interface is drawable. There is a function method draw within this, and this is the abstract method because there is no body of this method. You are just declaring it. Now you can create another class, and through that class you can implement this method, this interface drawable. So for that class, you have created class. Name of the class is rectangle, that is implementing your interface drawable. So to implement, this is the syntax: class name, implements, interface name. So first you will create the interface in which you will declare the constant fields and abstract methods, and then you through a class you will implement this using the implements keyword. So here class rectangle implements drawable, in which public void draw, and here you are defining that draw method in the class system.out.println drawing rectangle. Then another class you are creating circle. You are implementing the drawable interface, in which again you are defining the draw methods, and here also draw is having a body. Then you will create another class test interface, in which there is a main method, and you are creating an object of interface. You are creating an object of reference of interface drawable, and which that is of class circle, right? So then through this D you can call this method. So what will be the output? The output will be drawing circle. Drawing circle. So what is the idea here? the idea is that first of all, you will create an interface which will have all the constant values and abstract methods. Then by using a class, you can implement, means you can give define body of methods, declare abstract methods declared in the interface, and then you can create the object of the class which is implementing, and by using the object you can access the method of define abstract methods from that class. Now, abstract class example, as I told you that abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details and showing only functionality to the user. Without going into the implementation detail, what is the functionality of a particular, or you can say what is the behavior of a particular process, is known as abstraction. Another way, it shows only essential things to the user and hides the internal details. For example, sending SMS where you type the text and send the message, you don't know the internal processing about the message delivery. Abstraction, the process of abstraction lets you focus on what the object does instead of how it is doing. An abstract class must be declared with an abstract keyword. It can have abstract and non-abstract methods, as I told you, and this is the only difference between the abstract class and the interfaces, that abstract classes can have more than can have abstract methods as well as the non-abstract methods. Matlab methods with body, and it cannot be instantiated. It can have constructors and static methods also. It can have constructors and static methods also, and it can have final methods which will be force the subclass not to change the body of the method. This is very important. I am again repeating. An abstract class can have constructors and static methods also, and it can have final methods which will force the subclass not to change the body of the method. तो कंस्ट्रक्टर हो सकता है, देन स्टैटिक मेथड्स हो सकते हैं, देन फाइनल मेथड्स हो सकते हैं, जो कि आपके सब क्लास को फोर्स करेंगे कि यू कैन नॉट चेंज द बॉडी ऑफ द मेथड. In, for example, in abstract class there is a concrete method, and if that concrete method is a static method, and if you in the subclass if you are trying to change the body, then you cannot if that method is final. Now let's see with an example. Here we have taken a abstract class shape. The name of that abstract class is shape, and in which there is an abstract method, that is name of that abstract method is void draw, and the return type is void. It means that it is not returning any value, and it's an abstract method, so we have used the abstract class. And any class which is having the abstract method, that it will be abstract class. Now we are making a class rectangle which is extending the shape class. So there is another difference between the interface and abstract classes, that abstract classes can be subclassed, means you will use the extend keyword, while in the interfaces you will use the implements keyword. So here rectangle class is there, that is extending the abstract class shape, and in this subclass shape we are defining the draw method, means we are including the body system.out.println drawing rectangle. Then another class circle1 is created, which is again extending the shape, and void draw. Again, we are defining it. System.out.println drawing circle. Now we have created another class, test abstraction, public static void main. You know that this is the first statement to be executed. Whenever you will execute it, you are creating object reference S of abstract class shape, in which you are assigning the reference of circle subclass. You are assigning the reference of circle. There is a statement shape S. S is an object reference, right? New circle one. It means that whatever is the reference returned by this circle subclass will be stored in this object reference S. And type of this is of abstract, that is shape. So you can call the method here as dot draw. So which one? Two rectangle and circle. So since this is a reference of circle as dot draw, this will be output drawing circle. Now another example of the abstract class is abstract class bank, in which here you have created a method get rate of interest, the nature of which is returning integer type and abstract. There is no body of this method. Then you are creating a class SBI extends bank, which is extending the abstract class int get rate of interest, and you are returning the value 7. Then again you are creating a class PNB extends bank. Again that method is defining return 8. Now there is a class text bank, in which within the main method you have created object reference B of type abstract class bank, and this is storing the reference of subclass SBI, right? So system.out.print rate of interest is B dot get rate of interest B equal to new PNB. So new PNB when you will do, then rate of interest is B dot get rate of interest. So B, in which B is it will return the value 7, because SBI, you have stored the reference of SBI into B. Again you are creating B is equal to new PNB. So here the value will be rate of interest is 7 in the first statement, and in the second statement the rate of interest will be 8. So the meaning of this is that in the object reference of abstract class, whatever subclass reference you will assign, the method of that subclass will give result, right? So again I am repeating that you have created a class, abstract class. You can extend that abstract class into the subclasses, and means you can say that you can define there in the subclasses, and whenever you wish you are accessing the method of which subclass, how you will define it. So in the main method you will create an object reference of the abstract class, and you will assign the reference of subclass to that object reference, and जिसका भी आप रेफरेंस असाइन करेंगे सब क्लास का, उसी का मेथड क्या करेगा एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. दिस इज द मेन आइडिया बिहाइंड दिस प्रोग्राम. Another example of abstract class that has abstract and non-abstract. As I told you earlier that abstract class can have abstract methods as well as non-abstract methods. It means this abstract class will have body also. There is a abstract class bike in which there is a body also. So this is non-abstract method. Bike is a non-abstract method. Bike system.out.println bike is created. Now this run is a abstract method. This change gear method is non-abstract method. So this point is proven that an abstract method can have non-abstract methods as well as abstract methods. So in this class bike, abstract class bike, there is one abstract method run and two abstract methods, not non-abstract methods, bike and change gear. Now you are creating a child class, subclass, which is inheriting the abstract class bike. You have created a subclass Honda, extend bike, and you are defining that abstract method run over here, in which you are printing running safely. Now you have created a class which is calling the abstract and non-abstract methods. So you in the main function you have created an abstract class object of type bike, abstract class, new Honda. It means that you are storing the reference of Honda subclass into the this obj. Obj dot run. What it will give? It will system dot running safely. It will give output and obj dot change gear. Change gear is the method of this abstract class bike. Then it will give the output gear changed. So idea here is that you will make an abstract class and within that abstract class you will define various abstract methods and non-abstract methods. Then you can create various subclasses to implement those abstract methods. And now after that you will create another class which will have the main function, and within the main function you will create an object of the abstract class type in which you will pass the reference of the subclass and the subclass method, and the method can be called in this fashion. So this is the entire idea of this program. Now there is a concept of multiple inheritance. As I told you that what is multiple inheritance? If there are more than one superclasses and you are inheriting the properties of those subclasses into the one subclass, that is known as multiple inheritance. What is multiple inheritance? I am again repeating that when there are more than one superclasses, and if you are inheriting the properties and methods of those superclasses into one subclass, this property or this process is known as multiple inheritance. Again, I am repeating that Java do not support the concept of multiple inheritance. If you want to implement the multiple inheritance in Java, always you will use the concept of interface. Multiple inheritance is a feature of object-oriented concept where a class can inherit properties of more than one parent class. The problem occurs when there exist methods with the same signature in both the superclasses and subclasses. It means that you are overriding the methods. I told you earlier that in Java, the method overriding concept is possible. What is the method overriding? Method overriding means if there are more than one methods with the same name, with the same signature. Means signature means same arguments and same return type in both superclasses as well as subclasses. That is known as method overriding. So in the multiple, if you are implementing the concept of multiple inheritance in Java, then always, if there are methods in superclasses and subclasses with the same name, with the same number of arguments, with same return type, then the problem will occur if you are extending the superclass into the subclass. On calling the method, the compiler cannot determine which class method to be called, and even on calling which class method gets the priority, you will be check करिए आप भी check कर लीजिए. On calling the methods, the compiler cannot determine which class methods to be called, and even on calling which class methods get the priority. That will be the problem. In another way, you can understand this concept that suppose there is a grandparent superclass. From the grandparent, you are making two subclasses, parent 1 and parent 2, right? It means that from the grandparent superclass, you are inheriting the properties to parent 1 subclass and parent 2 subclass, right? Then from the parent 1 and parent 2, you are making another subclass that is child, right? So this is an example of hybrid inheritance where from the grandparent superclass you are making two subclasses, parent 1, parent 2, that is hierarchical inheritance, and from parent 1 and parent 2 subclasses you are making another subclass child, which is a multiple inheritance. So there is a combination of hybrid inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and multiple inheritance, and that is known as hybrid inheritance. And if there is a problem of hybrid inheritance, then always it's a it will be very difficult for the child subclass to um, to decide which method of grandparent superclass will be accessed either from the parent one side or parent two side. It will not be decided by the it cannot be decided by the child, because both will have the child subclass will have the same copy of method from parent one side or parent two side. So it will not decide which one method is they have to method of grandparent class they have to access. So that is the problem. That is the problem with the multiple inheritance in Java. So how to resolve it? You can resolve it using the concept of interface. It's clear to everybody? Hello? I think
Yes,
all
sir.
people muted. Nobody is giving response. Hello? It's clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Sir,
now there is a super class, parent one. So this is the superclass parent one in which there is a method. This is the complete method with a defined function, which is just printing a message parent one. There is another class that is the name of that class is having the method. So the signature is same. Signature means return type and arguments. Since this method is having no argument, this method is also having no argument. Name of the method is same and return type is same. So this is called method overriding. Now you are creating another class test extends parent one parent two. When you are extending it parent one parent two, in the main function, you are creating an object reference of class test, right? Now, p dot function. So at this point of time, it will be, compiler will be undecided that which method it has to call, either parent 1 or parent 2, because it will inherit both the methods. So it will have two copies, right? So which method it has to execute, it will not be decided if you are extending it. If you are extending it. So this is the problem in Java, right? So how to resolve it? You will resolve it by implementing it in place of extending. And as I told you that if method overriding is there, then in that case, runtime polymorphism will be there. And runtime polymorphism is only possible if inheritance is there. So in object-based programming language, I told you that there is no runtime polymorphism. It means that there is no concept of inheritance. So there will not be any concept of runtime polymorphism. In object-oriented language, the concept of inheritance is there. So the concept of runtime polymorphism is also there. So in C++, in Java, in C#, you will find the concept of method overriding. In C++, it is known as function overriding, while in Java, it is known as method overriding. Now, I am going to describe a Java program to demonstrate multiple inheritance through default methods. Now, since classes, you cannot implement the multiple inheritance in Java, so we have created interfaces there. Here, interface PI1 and interface PI2. In the first interface, there is a method default void show, right? And if you will use this keyword default, it means that this is a default methods, and you are defining here, which is printing the default. Another interface you are creating, that is the default void show. System.out.println default PI2. Otherwise interfaces are having the declaration of methods. You cannot define any method into the interfaces, but you can define the default methods, right? Now, implementation class code. You have created a code class, name of the class is code. You are implementing class, test class implements PI1, PI2. In this way, there are two superclasses. We will not say superclasses. They are interfaces, PI1, PI2, and you are implementing that. Here, public void show. So you are overriding default show methods. How you are overriding? Using the super keyword. What are the functioning of super keyword? I have already explained it to you. Public void show, in which we are using super keyword to call the show method of first interface. So pi1 dot super dot show. Okay. So within the subclass, within the implemented class, we can call the default method of superclass using the super keyword pi1 dot super dot show. In the same manner, from the second interface, we can call the method pi2 dot super dot show. So here, when you will call, it will print show pi1 default pi1, and here the output would be default pi2. Here is the main method. You are creating an object D of test class, new test class D dot show, right? So here D dot show, this control will go here, and first it will call the default method of interface, and here the default method of second interface. Right? So output will be default PIN, PI1 and default PI2. So this was all about the concept of abstract classes and interfaces, and you can implement it, this concept, the concept of abstract classes and interfaces, in real life examples also. For example, uh, in case of online transactions, in case of banking systems. So if you are writing code, so at the time of writing the code, you can include the concept of abstract classes and interfaces. So up to the time I have described the concept of abstract classes, concept of interfaces, concept of multiple inheritance, and concept of uh, another one, method overriding. And in now in the syllabus, I talked with your another sir, Jagmohan sir. He told that he has also covered up to the inheritance, and now two chapters in your syllabus are remaining. That is the applets, concept of applets, and file handling. And apart from this, I will discuss some concepts of how to implement the data structures in Java, so that that is not in the syllabus, but you must know that concept because you are the final year student. So that is necessary. So I will focus on the how to implement the data structures in Java. That will be the special classes. Within 3 or 4 class, I will describe those concepts. So for today, this is sufficient, and I have given many assignments to you. You have not submitted anyone, and it is almost 15 days, 1 month and 15 days. So when you are going to submit the assignments? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Nobody is. You have to submit the two assignments. You have to make two assignments. When you are going to submit it?
आप बता दीजिए सर.
Within 1 week. Okay, within 1 week you have to submit that. So please make the assignment, right? And if the assignments are handwritten, that will be better. That will be better. And you send me in the form of images. One more thing you can do, that you can send all the assignments to Tushar, and he will make a folder, and he will send me all the assignments to me. That will be the better approach, because in that way students will not suffer, right? But it's not so that everything done will be done by the Tushar. You will also participate into that and help him also, because if he is coordinating, so that should not be the liability on him. He is a student representative, so you must help him and cooperate him, and you should send all the assignments to him, and he will save into the folder, and finally he will send me, and I will evaluate those assignments, right? And for today, the assignments are, uh, uh, please write down, you if you have copy and pen, or just listen. The first assignment is, what is the difference between the concept of abstract classes and interfaces? define with the, illustrate with the suitable examples, right? And another question is, in Java, why multiple inheritance is not possible in Java, and how to make it possible? How to make it possible? Third question is, explain the concept of method overriding with suitable examples, and how to implement it. How to implement it. These are the three assignments you have to do. Another example is how to declare the constant values. So always you can declare the constant values using the final and static keywords against the variables. If you will prefix any variable with the final and static keyword, that will become constant value. If I am saying that is the constant value, how it is done? Because there is a read-only memory in your computer. So whenever you will make any variable as a final static, so that variable, the value of that variable will store into the read-only memory, and that will become the constant value. Then you cannot change if you are using the final and static keywords. So another use of final keyword is that if there is a superclass and subclass, and if you are making your superclass as a final, then you cannot subclass it. You cannot subclass it. So this is also the use of final. The two uses I have told you that two, using the final is used to declare the constant values. Another one is final is used in the inheritance if there is a superclass and subclass. If you are making any superclass as a final, it means that you cannot subclass that superclass. These are the two uses. In the same manner, static, I told you about the static keywords. Static, in the static keywords, I told you that static methods, any method will be static. So that method can be called without creating an object. Second use of static variable, it means that variable will be shareable by multiple objects, right? And static variables are the class variables. Static variables are the class variables, right? So give your attendance for today, and I think this is sufficient for today. And in this week, please give me, in 1 or 2 days, give me another class so that your chapter of applets I would like to finish. Okay, so you give the timing, and I will take another class. So give your attendance to Tushar. He will send me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much for scheduling class today. I am very busy these days. Admissions are also going on. Multiple things are going on.